Okay, it's Mr. Robbins back with tool time here. We're going to learn about some of the tools here. Today I'm going to show you how to use a scroll saw, and some of you 7th graders may use a scroll saw a little bit last year. This will be new to the 6th graders, but when we get back, we're going to start right into cutting things since we've missed a lot of our lab time, so we'll be doing things when we get back to school, hopefully next week. So we're going to start. I want to show you how this works. First of all, you take the blade. Is just a very small thing. It's held in the top and the bottom by 2 chucks, and then it's got some tension on it to make it tight. So I'm going to put this blade in here, show you how to put the blade in here. Put this under here and tighten it up with the teeth pointing down. Make sure you put the teeth pointing down because it cuts on the downward stroke. So and since these are plastic tighteners, screws, whatever, we tighten them by hand. You always want to tighten them by hand. So I tighten that right there, nice and snug. I've traced my pattern on the wood here. I use this pattern to trace it on there, and I thought about how I want it to go, and we want the grain to run up and down. There's the weakest part. We want the grain running up and down. We don't want the grain running across because it could break off there. Now I've got the tension. I've got my blade in there. You can see there's no tension on the blade. You can see that'll move. I pull this thing tight. Put some tension on there. There's a guard right here, and then this is a blower that keeps the sawdust out from in front of the blade so you can see your line as you're cutting. Now when we cut, we want to cut on the outside of our line. So we're going to start here. In fact, I've actually cut a little bit here, and then the blade broke when I was practicing, but I'm just going to go back through here. And I'm going to come in here and go right along the outside here, go around here and out there, and it should be one smooth, continuous cut. And I'll try to, as I'm doing this, I'll try to talk as I'm doing it. We want to make sure we turn it on. There's a speed thing here. We need it on about, I think we've set it on about 6.5 right there. That's a good speed for the type of wood that we're using. So we'll go ahead and start cutting here, and we go real slow. And the key is to go, and I'm just going through here. So this has already been cut. So you never go that fast. So I'm just trying to get through here where it hasn't been. And then right here, I have to turn. If I don't turn sharp enough, coming around this tail, it'll go way out into here, and it won't look like a tail. So we're going to turn. And what I do is watch. I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but I watch the distance between the blade and my line, okay? And the distance between my blade and the line should be just about a 1/16 of an inch or less. If you get more than that, you're going to have a lot of sanding to do, and if you cut inside your line, there's nothing we can do. You pretty much ruined it if you go inside your line. That's why we don't want to cut on the line. We want to cut on the outside, just outside the line. We can always sand it down to our line. And then this is a little blower that actually keeps the sawdust from out in front of my blade. So coming around here, and I'm going to get into some really close corners here where I have to turn. So the key is really, guys, to go slow. See, if you take your hands off of it, it's not automatically fed. So don't just come up to me and say, well, it just took off and it cut. I don't know what happened. It won't do that. You have to push forward for it to cut. But you want to develop a skill so that you push forward at the right amount that you're turning. And around corners like this, you want to go really slow. Let's turn all the way around here so the blade it's going to cut right toward the center. Okay, now turn all the way back around and hold down strong enough that it's not going to bounce up and down. Now it's going to cut on the downward stroke mostly, but it starts bouncing. Hold down a little tighter. But you don't want to push down so hard, guys, that you can't turn the piece of wood when it needs to be turned. So you got to hold down just enough that you can turn the wood as you go around. Again, once you get back starting next week, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go back over and make sure everyone knows how to measure, and we'll take a measurement quiz for that. So the more practice you do on the measurement, the ruler game, the better off you are, the better off you're going to be on the first couple days back to school. Okay, so I'm going around this corner here, turning, and you'll find this, I've done this for a lot of years, so I'm pretty good at it now. It's going to take you a while to get to where you can turn. You're going to come into this corner here, and you're probably not going to turn the wood sharp enough because I've got to turn this all the way around, almost 180 degrees, to come back this way. And you're going to want to push forward a little bit, which is going to cause it to go up into your line. But once again, we're staying on the outside of our line. And I've got the camera setting on the computer today, so it's not, I fired Milo, the therapy dog. He was too hard to, he just ate and couldn't really get him to do anything, so we fired Milo. So now the camera's just on the computer there. And once again, I'm staying outside the line. I hope you can see that in the video. If you need to, you might want to zoom in a little bit with it. Come around here, finish up. And you always want to go really slow when you're finishing up. That's when most of the accidents happen, when you're finishing up along an edge and you're pushing it. It comes off a little quicker than what you think it's going to, and your finger can get into the blade. But you'll be real careful and keep your fingers outside the guard at all times. I've never seen the blade jump out of the guard and go around and attack somebody in the room. The only way it's going to cut you is if you get your fingers up inside the guard there and into the blade. Now, finish cutting that out. And you can see here, you should be able, and if I can get this so you can see it, you should be able to see my line all the way around. I don't know if you can see that or not, but you should be able to see the line. Turn it off there on top. But you should be able to see my line all the way around, and I just cut out that little terrier there. And then we can draw on it, paint on it, whatever we want to do. And you guys will be doing that when you get back. 7th graders will be doing a puzzle. 8th graders or 6th graders will be doing something like this year, just cutting out something. Because I'm really only going to have the 6th graders, you 6th graders, for about 5 more weeks until the end of the 9 weeks. So we've got to move rapidly to get some stuff done so you'll be ready for Tech Ed next year. The 7th graders, we've got a little bit more time, but we still have to make a shelf. We'll still make your shelf in 7th grade and do some other cutouts. We make a puzzle that you cut on the scroll saw and you put together. We got different ones, and I'll show that later on. But just to give you an idea of what you can do, and make sure that you sign, after you watch the video today, make sure you sign the attendance quiz. I'm not going to give you an assignment on it. So, but we'll study the parts of the jigsaw better when you get back, and have you guys start cutting some things out. So until tomorrow, I'll see you then.